afternoon, and wherever you are in this wide, wonderful, beautiful world, you are extremely welcome to the soft and system size to sales. And every week we talk about a different area of success, the soft side and the system side and the systematic side and the systemic side and all of the other sides of it, because there's that we can talk about. But this time we're actually talking about how can you stand out from the crowd? How can you how can they, because there, as we know, there are many companies and there's huge competition. It's fine. And there's a lot of companies doing pretty much the same sort of thing, but your team within place, but individuals. But how can you, as an individual, stand out and make a difference? Are the key core ingredients? You can just go out and go, well, how can I attract the clients, but how can I be perceived as trustworthy, credible, and be known for what I do? So there's lots of different things. So Shay, throwing this question out to you, because there's lots of different areas that we can speak about today. From standing out, how do you stand out from your position, and how do you advise own?
Well, before I answer that question, Jason, I just want to add something to your intro, which I believe is very important. In this world, you have no choice but stand out. You must stand out, because if you don't stand out, your competition will, and your prospects, your customers will end up going with them. So you have no choice. Regardless of the business you're in, you're going to move businesses, Jason, through the course of your career, but you have to have you everywhere. And what I do, Jason, and what I preach to my clients is you need to have a presence, because if you're selling, Jason, people are not going to just talk to you when you come into their building, come into their office, have a chat, talk about the value proposition you sell, how you can solve their problems. They're going to stalk you, Jason. They're going to look everywhere they can find everything about you to ensure they can trust you. And that makes it's easy in this world to do that. So the reason why I say that, Jason, then you have to have a presence in the key channels that your competitors, your prospects, and your customers are going to play on, right? And they will have their modus operandus in terms of what channels, Jason, but you have to be there. And not only do you have to be there, you have to be churning out really good content, not just content about the business and you work for and how it's about how you can help people. People need to see you as a helper, Jason. So the more you're giving out really good information and content for free to support when you go into the sales environment with your prospects, then people will start to know what, I've seen this guy before I came in. I did my research. I saw some of his stuff. His stuff makes sense. I trust this guy. I like this guy. Now let's see what this person or this woman has to say when they come into the office, and let's have a conversation, because they will do that, Jason. And then after they meet you, they'll do it again to reconfirm everything. So my first advice, Jason, is it's never just about your position. Now it's your own personal brand that you have to ensure your brand complements the companies you work for, and whatever you say, it's congruent. So whatever you say you do, Jason, because all it takes, you know this better than most, Jason, that when you say something and it's not congruent with other elements of where people see you hang out, your Facebook profile, always remember those things you don't want people to see, right? But make sure everything, your tone of voice, whatever you say, matches your body language, and that matches what you say and how people perceive you everywhere. So for me, Jason, that's the very first thing I look at.
I think you're absolutely right. I think you have to practice what you preach, not do what you say, not what I do. So if you say you're going to do something, make sure that you do it. But if you post something online, as an example, you post something online saying you're an expert in this field. I'm an expert at trust. I'm an expert at business skills, and I'm an expert at but if you don't practice what you preach, you'll soon be found out as be, people like people that they like, trust, and they connect with. But it has to be level. So if you're going out and you're pitching to a client, make everything up with stuff that you've done, a story that you've told, a client testimonial, which is true, maybe a video or something. But then, as you say, is give stuff away for free, give content away for free, give something that people can actually understand and go, well, I was looking for that. And ironically enough, a few weeks ago, someone visited my website and they were looking for content, but then they approached me and then they go, oh, I know him. I know that. I know him. And we picked up the phone, made the connection and go, I remember where it was. And then apparently we know each other from secondary connections. Then he read some of my content online. Wow. So it's just amazing that you're backing up what you do and you're making yourself stand out from the crowd and making yourself be known for what you do. And everything is in line and everything is earned. I think congruent is one of the words that we have to use.
It is, Jason, because that's where you make sure everything matches everything you do. It complements, to not contradict. So that's, and here's the thing, Jason. So the important thing is when you put yourself out there in the world, it can either be really good or really bad. And that choice is yours. So you have to make sure everything is complementing each other. What you say in those meetings with your prospects, what your message is on your social media platforms that you share content with. And it can't be selfish, Jason. It can't be about you. It can't be about your business. It's about how you can help them. Everything, Jason, everything has to be about how you can help them, no matter what. It's not, if you win an award or you do something because you've done something really good, fantastic. That just emulates what you are and who you are, Jason. But the whole point is not about you, it's about them.
I completely agree. The amount of times that I see posts and it's constantly boasting about what they've done, constantly boasting about this, that, and the other. And where's the value in that? There's no value in that. I give value forward, place it forward into the future, give advice, give something of a tip, something of value that whether you do it in a video, whether you posting content online, and you're giving away something. So, well, I think a lot of people might find this of value. Let's hope they do, or less hinder of something that they've done, and then they practice it, and then they go, bang, I've got it. I've done a deal. Or I made a process out of that, or I did something with that. And then you can align with your values, not the ego. But I think you're absolutely right. If you won an award, happy days. And like we both won awards for this, that, and the other. Great. But you utilize it in the right and the context to help deliver other people's results. That's all we're here for. We're giving away results. We're hoping to add, and we want to give value forward and make sure people learn and grow from what we have to give. Then that gives us credibility, but also gives us likability. That also gives us trust as well. And trust is a two-way process.
Oh, it is totally. And what you said there just, it strikes me, reminds me of a book that I read, The Giver's Game, Bob Burg. And it's exactly that, Jason, right? Like whatever you put out to the world will come back. There could be a delayed response, Jason, but there will always be a response when people see who you are. And when you change companies, Jason, here's the thing. And this is why it's not just good enough to have a brand and a presence for the company. You have to have your presence in the marketplace. Because I said before, you're going to probably shift jobs a few times during the course, even multiple times, 5 times over the course of a number of years. So you want to bring those people with you, like, and not forget and having to start from scratch again. And they will come with you if you've serviced them well. If your brand values match their needs and who you are, people will come with you, Jason, because they don't want to lose you as the external component to their business. They're like extended partner, playing their playground so much they'll never look at the competition. So this, to me, it always starts with your personal brand. Define what it is you want to stand for in your marketplace, how you're going to help people, how you're going to be there for him, and then you have to follow it through, Jason. That's the hard part. It's great to say all these things, but you have to follow it through. And you can't just do that by thinking, yeah, I'm motivated. You need to build a plan and a system to drive that forward.
Yeah. Just wanted to go back on that before we go forward. Is I think you have to know yourself. You really have to understand who you are and who you want to stand for, how people want people to see you and perceive you to be who you are, and show your authentic self. I know that word would be a little bit vulnerable there. So there's that connection because we're not all perfect, are we? If we can show that we failed and we have failed and we have done that, there's no one out there that has not failed out there. So what do we do particularly to overcome those challenges, to overcome those adversities? Because we're still doing them, but what we can do, can teach forward to actually say, well, this is what we've done. Like, we've all done it. So how can we connect with other people? And that's all about that connection process. It's not an egocentric. It's also showing yourself up, really. Just say, look, I'm Mr. Vulnerable here, but that's fine as well, because you're comfortable in your own skin to actually highlight some of the areas that, hang on a minute, I'm just like you. Hang on a minute, I've got some other processes, some skills or whatever that can make you not make those mistakes.
Yeah, no, that's spot on, Jason. And I just want to build on that because everybody makes mistakes. But here's the thing, Jason, when your company fails a customer, right? And maybe a complaint comes in or there's an issue, right? That's a great opportunity to prove who you are to the client. A great opportunity where you can say, look, I'm going to be back in 2 days to find out what went wrong, right?
Yeah.
You go off and investigate, get back in a day and a half. Come back before your 2 days, Jason. Tell them, look, we found the problem. We put a corrective action in place. So we'll be able to service you, but we're actually going to do a bit of problem solving to make sure this never happens again. And I'll be back to you in 5 days with a permanent solution. Get back to them in 4, Jason. And when you do this and you do it, and the word you said authentically is absolutely spot on. When you do that authentically, people will say, do you know what? Things didn't go according to plan, but this guy was there. This guy helped us. This guy didn't just brush it aside and blame someone else. This person helped me get over that hump. And that reminds me of another story, Jason, which happened to me a long time ago during the crash of 2008. I was working with a major contractor in Ireland, and the guy that I was working with, like, I actually got on really well with this guy. He was a genuine person. I knew, we mentioned that word congruent, his body language, what he said, everything all aligned, and I trusted him. And he got us to do things like we were a bit concerned about not getting paid. We mentioned it to him, and because things were happening in the marketplace, and he goes, look, I've confirmed this with my bosses that you're getting paid. When we went to get the final check, we didn't get paid. And he came to me, Jason, like that. You could see he was devastated. You could see that it wasn't his decision and it was above him. And I could have given him a lot of hassle, Jason, but I didn't, because I knew he was genuine, right? And that was fit. That was fine. Like, he apologized. We moved on, whatever. And it was a 5-figure sum. So it wasn't just anything small money. But here's the thing, Jason, right? About 6 months or 9 months, I can't remember, later on, he actually phoned me. He had moved companies, right? And he phoned me, Shay, I have a big project. I would like you to pitch for it. And I'll be pushing you to get the job. And I appreciate what's happened before, but I have the money in the pot there now. We put it in escrow. It's there when it's ready to be rewarded, when the person's done the job. And that job was worth 10 times what his previous business owed me, Jason. And that's the whole thing about character and your brand. Like, I never expected him to come back, because, if I didn't treat him very well and I was in my, like, entitled to not treat him well, he didn't pay me. If I was left it on bad terms, do you think he would have come to me, Jason?
Yeah.
No. But that's about knowing the people you can trust. And that's how it's all about relationships, Jason. Building that relationship and building that persona that you're a person that your customers can trust. And that is what has to come across in everything you do on all your media channels.
Yeah, I totally, completely concur with that, because it is one of those things, and it is your personal brand, and it is that connection and those um again, that word authentic, and being authentic, what I say, and accommodating others when you can, when you feel it's right. And again, using that gut feel that you have, because sometimes things don't work out, but as you say, people do. But as long as you practice what you preach, and I'm reiterating that because I think it's just so important. Do what you say, practice up, ego ahead of everything else. I'm for great and incredible. Yeah, so what? So what? Can you do what we say? You say, can I give you forward without the ego? Push the ego. You got to come with a little bit of ego because you're good at what you do, and that's why people buy into what you have. But again, it's standing out. I think also is be an expert of your industry, be an expert that you're so well read up about that vertical. It's simple stuff, but it's so true. Some people and some salespeople, I'm not going to say all of them because that's a generalization, but if you want to be an expert, do master everything, master the industry, know the industry that you're in, but know your competition, obviously, but also know everything that's going on within the industry. So you have a really good sense of what's going on rather than going in there blindly and not knowing there's the latest piece of software out that can fix that, or whatever it might be. Like something that, or even you can add in, say, well, I heard about this. What I've done before is, well, even in a client meeting, and go, oh, by the way, you should actually have this because this will really help your system, your process. I read this up today. I've been using it. It's wonderful. Have a go. Adding a little bit something else of your experience and your expertise.
Well, that's exactly it, Jason, because like and again, see, here's the thing, Jason. If you really want to be true to your brand, it's not just about you being a salesperson in your industry. This has to be you. This has to be in all aspects of your life, Jason, because there will be a point in time that if you have a split personality, right, in your business and your personal, eventually they're just going to go miles apart and they'll fall apart, Jason. This has to extend far past your sales, right? And then when you do that, when every part of your life is in harmony, Jason, then it's much more honest and sincere and easier to be that person. And to your point, Jason, again about knowing the market, knowing the knowledge, that's exactly the information you'll be sharing. Whatever is relevant to your marketplace, you should be connecting with all your prospects on your social media, like LinkedIn or whatever it is that is where your network hang out. You should be there sharing this information, connect with your prospects, let them see who you are, right? And then give them great information. Make sure they see, well, he's not just like a really, or she's a really good person in a sales meeting. They know what to say. They're really good with their, like, as you know, your NLP, Jason, they're all their
Yeah.
little mechanisms to get people to like you. If they see all the videos, if they see all the content and everything, they'll have a much stronger opinion of who you are. And that's for good or bad, Jason. You have to make sure it's exactly what it should be.
Yeah, it's just painting the right picture. So there's lots of different other facets about jumping out and different. So learn yourself. Read books, obviously. Read books. Attend webinars. Go out and see people. Learn from people. Reach out to experts out there. I do that all the time. I reach out to people and ask for advice. I reach out to other people to say, look, can I get your opinion? I've got a client and I want an idea. I just want a different point of view. So the clients in the best way possible, because without that, so I think just get on top of everything. So go to seminars, go to whatever. The next step up if you really asked to speak on stage, there's lots of places and seminars you can actually push yourself out in a seminar. So stand up and make a presentation in front of people most of the times. But not saying that, I'm saying that's something good for you to do, to stand out, get yourself shown, get your friends, get other people to take picture of you, video of you, actually standing out, and push that out through social. So people can say you're an expert in that field and you can practice what you preach. You do a podcast, or you get invited onto a live broadcast like this, or you do a podcast, or you do something else, or you write some content in something. So something else which is above and beyond, so your clients can see what you do.
Yeah, that's spot on, Jason. Like, and again, as I said, I can't say it any simpler to start, build your personal brand, understand who you are today and who you want to be, and build that process and roadmap to get there. It may take time, Jason, but it's all about, and like I'm just seeing the comment from Bernadette there, ethical, be ethical, like have a brand of ethics,
Yeah.
be authentic. And the most important thing is be you, Jason, be authentically you, like, and make sure you live that purpose all the way through. For you, be the problem solver, be there for them when things don't go well, because things don't always go well. Just be there, Jason, like you would. And I always say, everything in life is about relationships. It's not just business or family. It's all about relationships, Jason. So treat people the way you should treat people you like, always.
Yeah. So bring this to a close, the soft and system size to sales. I think we could probably carry this on next week, because I think this is such a major part of against, not against the competition, but as you are as your personal brand. And I think we might have done this before, but I think there's lots of different areas that we can go off on this. So as clearly as you can, what's the one takeaway that you can take away from this conversation? There's lots I know, but what one thing's out for you?
Like, the one thing is, Jason, put your customers' needs ahead of your own. That to me is always number one.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm thinking of about 10 things here, but yeah, I think put their needs in front of your own instead of your own. And I think I'm going to completely concur with that, and I'm in the line. Shay, it's been awesome, a brilliant conversation today, and technology's with us, which is awesome, and it's been fluid. So thank you everyone today on the soft and system size to sales, and thanks again, Shay.
Thanks a lot, Jason. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.